lift our patient up just a little bit, make sure we're all on the system, make sure everything looks good, make sure it's safe before we go high. And then once we're all set, then we're going to perform the rescue operation. So what we have right now is we have Captain Brett, who is going to be our rescuer. Engineer Soto with his fancy purse that controls our ladder truck. He can use that remotely. That way he has a good visual of what he's doing. He can walk anywhere around the truck and he can still maneuver the ladder anywhere he needs it to be. He can raise it, he can lower it, he can raise and lower us, and he can spin it around 360 degrees. So our saddle system safety check is complete. We've got our victim already packaged up. He's ready to go. And now we need to maneuver him somewhere where we can get him down safely, get him in an ambulance, get him transported to the hospital. So Captain Brett is going to hook herself up to the system as well. That way she can attend to him. We can do any kind of emergency medical services we need in the air while we're moving the patient. So you notice Captain Brett has a pretty complex rope system that she's attached to. It's called a set of fours. That allows her to move herself up and down so she can control where she is on that patient. She can lower herself below and kick her legs behind if we're on a cliff and she needs to push that basket off away from the cliff. She can raise herself above if she needs to do some kind of patient care. She can also use the exact same set of fours which we have set up on the patient to maneuver the way that the patient situates in that basket. We can have the legs lower, we can lift the legs up, we can maneuver that basket any way we need to. Now she's lowering herself. That's the typical position she would be in if we were using any kind of cliff rescue. This allows her to walk herself and the basket down the cliff. The rope we have that's going to the ground that Chief Hughes is maintaining for us right now, that's what we call a tag line. That allows us to control the spin of the basket, so we don't want them spinning around. We can also control where their fall line is. If we need to pull it away from something, we can pull it away from something.
Talk to us a little bit about the wind today and the problem.
So you can see how much they're blowing around because of the wind. So that tag line is going to assist us with that. However, that's normal in a day-to-day operation. We can't control the weather. We have to be able to do it no matter what our weather conditions are. So Captain Brett is basically attached to both the basket and that rope. That way wherever the basket goes, she's going to go with it, and she maintains control over that basket at all times. Those yellow ropes that Captain Brett is manipulating, that's our set of fours. That gives her a 4-to-1 mechanical advantage. That's what allows her to be able to lift herself, lower herself safely, and also control the orientation of that basket. So for those who don't know, Mechanical Advantage is a system that we use to give us some more strength when we're hoisting. We run that rope through a series of pulleys. Those pulleys will pull together. And when those pulleys pull together, we create what's called a 4-to-1, which means we pull 4 feet of rope and that patient will move 1 feet. But that also means that every 100 pounds only weighs 25 pounds when we're pulling on it. As you can see, this ladder truck gives us quite a bit of clearance. We're able to reach very tall buildings. We can reach commercial roofs. We can reach balconies on multiple floors. That way, if we need to get a patient down, we don't have a good means to do it. If they have a back injury and we can't bring them downstairs, we can safely get them down to our ambulance and we can get them transported to the hospital. This system is the exact same system we would also use on the edge of the cliff without a ladder truck. We would set it up through the tripod you see in front of the ladder truck on the top of the cliff, and instead of being raised up, they would just be lowered down to where the patient is. So right now, Captain Brett's putting herself well above the basket. What she would need this for is if we were raising the patient up a cliff edge, and we had something we had to raise that patient up, like an outcropping on that cliff where it jetted out. She could get above the patient, kick off of that cliff a little bit, and give some room. That way they don't get stuck. Once we've got that patient relocated where we need them to be, we're able to lower them safely to the ground, and then we'll unpackage them and get them into an ambulance, which we'll have waiting right next to our ladder truck.